So, good evening, ma'am.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. How have you been all this while? How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's been a long time since we are meeting. It's been 2 years, I suppose.
Definitely all that nostalgic feeling coming in right now because it's almost 2 years, and I still remember the last conversation we have had. Such a pleasant conversation with you with such a pleasant personality. And it was a pleasure connecting with your viewers also, ma'am. And now it's again the same moment. And I am just hoping that I'll be able to broaden
Right.
my perspective even more after this conversation with you. Definitely.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm really, what should I say? Feeling fantastic. I'm feeling so good to connect to you again, and I'm super excited. First of all, I want you to introduce yourself to my viewers because they really want to know about you.
Yes.
So, uh, I mean, before I give introduction to
Hmm.
my viewers, I want you to give your introduction so that
Hmm.
it would be easy for them to understand about you. And I want to talk about your talent, your
Mhm.
expertise, your, way of working thing. Yeah.
Certainly,
You have been working
certainly.
a lot on your English stuff. You are
Hmm.
making a lot of people proficient in English,
Hmm.
and you are giving a good knowledge to everybody. And
Hmm.
I also, every time I see you there in Instagram, you
Hmm.
post a lot of posts are there of yours.
Videos, yes.
You come up with new kind of
Reels.
videos and you are
Hmm.
sharing your videos,
Hmm.
so people they know. I think you are not new to them, but still I
Hmm.
want your introduction. Please give your introduction. Yeah.
Certainly, ma'am. It would be my utmost privilege to introduce myself in your esteemed platform. So, thank you so much, first of all, for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself. So, I am Anjali Gurung, and I am a senior school English educator, as you all know very well. I think some of my viewers also, if they are able to join in, they must be knowing this information about me. And I have been teaching for more than 10 years now. It's been more than 10 years in this profession, and it feels absolutely fantastic. I teach not just the college and university students, but I also prepare the students for their board examinations and some competitive examinations. And besides, I also train the students for some beauty pageants for the questionnaire round. And along with that, I have also been preparing the students for their cabin crew interview rounds as well. So it's been 10 years in this wonderful profession, and I have reached till a point where I can say that I don't want to look back now. I want to be here. This is my passion, and this is what I want to carry forward in my life with. I think I'm living the life of my dreams. This is something which I've always wanted to do. It's been a wonderful experience altogether with my students, interacting with so many students from different walks of life. And I've also trained students through my online personal learning platform with the name of the English Elixir by Anjali, where I have met students from different parts of the world as well. So I have had students from Brazil, I've had students from Africa, I've had students from US and UK as well. So some Indian students who have settled in USA, and they are still trying to adjust with the language, with the conversational skills, with the communication skills, and the students who are particularly facing a lot of problem in communicating and who have not been able to get quite well versed with the language. So I have been in close connect with those students and have been trying to enhance their reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills.
Oh my God. You are such an honorable guest of mine. I'm so happy to connect to you today. And I'm very sure that my viewers are going to get a very insightful conversation today. They are going to get benefited by this conversation. So, ma'am, starting with my first question. So, as my this channel is about spoken English channel,
Right.
I
Yes.
actually have been teaching grammar, advanced level
Mm,
grammar. But
mm,
lately, I have started talking about spoken English too.
mm,
So my viewers actually they are facing a lot of problems
mm,
when they are on this journey of fluency. I'm not talking about each and every viewers, but there are some students of mine they really face this problem when
mm,
actually they are into this journey of learning English, spoken English actually. So
right.
the first problem which is very common for all the learners of English, that is
Mm,
to have a right kind of mindset.
Hmm.
I mean, I do believe that right kind of mindset should be there.
Hmm.
So I really want to know about this term mindset, that how
Hmm.
does it work when
Hmm.
you are into this journey of learning English?
Hmm.
So ma'am, tell me that how it is work, and is there any particular kind of mindset is needed for for spoken English?
Definitely. Thank you so much for asking me such a venturesome question, ma'am. That mindset, I would like to term it as having the right frame of mind in order to start learning English. And that definitely is the first milestone which a student needs to have. It's the first prerequisite which a student needs to have before starting this journey of learning English, of being able to speaking English. Because this mindset is so important, because almost all the students who I get into conversation with, when I ask them that why don't they take any initiative, like some of them are very scared, they get very nervous, they get very jittery while speaking in English. It does happen that, when a class is going on, some of them are so scared that they don't even raise their hand to ask some questions, because they feel that, oh, they will be judged on the basis of the kind of English which they will be speaking. So that having the right kind of mindset, first of all, is being absolutely fearless. Okay, that you don't have to worry about that people are going to judge you. It's not like that. So you have to remove that fear from your mind, first of all. This is called as having the right having the right frame of mindset. And this can only be achieved when we start training our mind in the proper way. And like I told you, the very first thing is talking to yourself in a positive way. What most of the students they do is they self talk in a very negative way, and they often tell themselves that they will never be able to do it, that they will always be, they always find the other students, other teachers who are speaking in a very fluent way, and they always find themselves to be in a very lower position than them. And it definitely is very intimidating for the other person to be able to speak very fluently, and for that particular student who has just started his or her journey of learning English to get scared, to get jittery a little bit. But that does not mean that that child cannot cover it in due course of time. That starting and taking the first step and having the right kind of mindset is the first thing which a child needs to have, is to have that self belief and to have that motivation that yes, even he or she will be able to achieve that milestone sooner or later in life. And that will only happen when the first step will be taken. So that is like a stepping stone. One has to start initially. It is all that going in the head, all the planning is going on, that okay, I will start speaking in English, I will have the right kind of conversation, I will start practicing, but it is all in the head, right? When that plan starts getting executed in practical life, when the child really starts speaking in English without having any fear, without having any judgmental issues as such, that is when the child will have the right kind of mindset to be able to learn and to be able to speak in English. So in that place, mind also plays, training the mind also plays a major role. One needs to know how to train, how to get that mind into the picture. One needs to envision, first of all, that imagination work has to be very strong. And then that imagination has to be gotten into the reality, which can then work miracles for a student. So step number one is to make yourself believe that you can do it. Let nobody, or do not let anything come in your way. Do not let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Okay, nobody is the right person to judge you but you yourself. A student knows himself or herself in a much better way than any other person. Okay, so that having the right kind of mindset, not having any sort of fear, not having any fear of getting judged by people, of what the other people are going to say, that oh, if I speak in incorrect English, people are going to laugh at me. No, this is the first thing which you have to remove. Let them laugh. If the people are laughing, let them judge you. So that is their problem, that is their mindset. This is where the mindset comes into the picture. That is their mindset. Your mindset is to make yourself robust and make yourself understand that nothing of this is going to matter. You have to start your journey. It's your journey altogether. And once the first step, that baby step, is taken, it is then when the whole journey will seem to be very interesting, very intriguing, and very venturesome. You can trust me on this, definitely.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hmm.
So it's about like fixed mindset and growth
Hmm.
mindset. I mean, if you're having the
Yes,
fixed mindset, it means that you are compromising with the situation. If failure
absolutely.
is coming in your way, you are
Hmm.
accepting it is as
Yes,
it is. You're not
yes.
working on it. But if
Yes.
you have a growth mindset, you
Hmm.
would come out of your comfort zone. You would
Hmm.
try to achieve something in
Hmm.
your life.
Hmm.
You will
Hmm.
always you will try to get out of your rut to do something new, to achieve something new in your life.
Yes.
So thank you so much for explaining in such a nice way. Now, ma'am, another question I have, because I have
Hmm.
limitation of time also, so
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
such
Sure,
a
sure, sure.
wonderful you are
Yes.
coming up with
Hmm.
your answer, ma'am. So the
Hmm.
next question is, actually, it is also very, very common
Hmm.
when we see that, suppose a learner is there, and this
Hmm.
learner, what he does that is having all qualities. He can speak
Hmm.
good English,
Hmm.
but when he's alone, he
Hmm.
he's having a very good command over grammar, sentence
Hmm.
construction, everything he knows. Even the
Hmm.
assimilated a lot of abundance of vocabularies also. Everything is perfect, you can call it. But
Hmm.
the moment he stands in front of other people to speak in English, the
Hmm.
confidence level, it drops down. So, ma'am,
Hmm.
tell me that how to increase this confidence level that is very,
Hmm.
very essential for speaking in English.
For
So,
sure.
ma'am,
It's
can you put some light on it, that how to get this
Yes, yes. It's a very common problem, first of all. This is something which I can observe, which I can see in most of the students out there, that they are completely replete with good vocabulary. They have all the information, they have all the knowledge, they know how to speak, but still, when they go on the stage, when it's the final showdown time, that is when they go completely down, they recede, and they start retreating, and they are not able to speak properly. So, this is a very common problem, and this is where the first question and the second question they get interconnected. Okay, this is completely in connection with the first question which you had asked me about. That was such a wonderful question which you had asked me
up?
about
Right.
about
In
having
the
the right kind of mindset. That is the first step which a child needs to have, right kind of mindset which is going to come into the picture. So once the child has a right kind of mindset, half the battle is won. Okay, so there itself, when you have the right frame of mind, half the confidence comes from there. Okay, and second step which a child can take in order to enhance that confidence is to reaffirm and reincantation. I really believe in the power of reaffirmation. I really believe in the power of reincantation. So let's just say that, just
Ma'am,
giving you,
can
trying
you
to
break it down
explain
for
one
our
example.
viewers, actual a little bit
Yes,
deeper side of explanation I want about
yes.
this term that is you have already.
Certainly. I would like to explain this by giving you a wonderful example. So, for example, if a child has to give a presentation tomorrow, okay, the child has prepared everything. The first thing which a child can do is have ample amount of practice. So, even if the child is a bit skeptical, is a little doubtful, is a little suspicious that, okay, tomorrow I might go wrong, and that it's a D day for me, it's a very important day in which I'll have to speak in front of so many people out there, I might go wrong. So, the first step is have ample amount of practice. Okay, practicing it the right way is the key. So, not memorizing everything, but just going by the points, trying to speak naturally, trying to speak in front of the camera. I will not say mirror, because speaking in front of the mirror has become very obsolete and
Very
an old aged habit. So I do not really suggest my students to practice in front of the mirror, but recording yourself in front of the camera, having ample number of recordings till the time you feel confident, that is the right key. Okay, then let's come to the second step. So the child has this presentation tomorrow. The child has practiced for ample number of times. The second thing which a child needs to do is, like I told you before, that reaffirmation, envisioning, and incantations. Now, what is this? For example, the child has practiced, right? And now the child is doing something else. Maybe the child is there in the restroom. Let's just say if the child is sitting alone in the room. So that particular moment of the future, when that child is going to go on stage and is going to give the actual performance, that has to be envisioned in the mind. It has to be played in the mind repeatedly. What happens by doing this is the child will be able to live that moment in advance. Okay, the child is able to experience that moment, that particular moment, that moment of nervousness, that moment of getting scared. The child will be going through exactly same emotions, but not in reality, but only in his or her mind. Okay, now how is this connected? By playing that moment repeatedly in mind, the child will be able to have ample amount of practice. The child has already put himself or herself in that moment. Just like that, the child is going to perform tomorrow. Okay, so in this way, half the fear is lost. right? So the child has envisioned everything in mind. The stage is there, the people are there, the mic is there, the podium is all set, everything is all set, and the child is speaking fluently. So that envisioning is very, very important. That is a very important step which a child can have in order to gain that confidence for speaking in English. Okay. And like I said, having the right kind of mindset is very, very important before going on stage. One more thing which I would like to bring into limelight over here is that anxiety. Okay, so I think there is nobody in this world who does not face anxiety before going on stage. This is such a scary term, such a monstrous term which torments
Right.
many speakers out there. Anxiety is something which is very dangerous and which everybody have to face. Even the best of speakers in the world, they have to face this problem of anxiety. Now, how to deal with this anxiety? So when the child is finally on stage, have done ample amount of practices, have envisioned the entire thing in his mind repeatedly. Now the child is very confident, but still, when the child goes on stage, there is that anxiety which is creeping in. Okay, the child is feeling nervous. Those, the wobbly hands and wobbly feet, and like having butterflies in the stomach, so all that emotion, this is very common. So I would like to say, don't get scared of that anxiety. This is something which I've practiced in with my own performances, with my own stage performances. Even I have felt anxious. This is something which is not an alien term for me. I am also a speaker. I've spoken so many times. I've done public speaking so many times, and anxiety comes in. Even to the best of speakers, it does come. Now, how to deal with it? Do not push that anxiety away. Do not try to push that anxiety away, saying that, okay, you are bad for me. But the child has to accept and admit and greet that anxiety, saying that, okay, hello, my dear anxiety, you are here. I know that you are here with me today. And I know that if you are here today, I am about to do something consequential. I'm about to do something important. I'm about to do something very important. Just imagine if the child is not doing anything important, no anxiety is going to be there. So, just when anxiety is there, that means the child is about to do something of substance, something which is very important. So, that greeting of anxiety is very important. Do not push it away. Just greet it, accept it, and then go on stage. And I can assure you that the performance is going to be superb.
Awesome, ma'am.
Right.
Such a nice way you have explained everything, ma'am. I'm mesmerized.
Thank you
Ma'am,
so
I'm
much, ma'am.
coming with another question, but it is also interlinked. So that's why I'm
Mhm.
not focusing on this question. Rather, I'm asking something else,
Right.
which is also very, very common because
Mhm.
most of the learner of English, they feel this thing and they
Mhm.
are going through this problem, the complexities, the obstacle which coming in their way, that is of adding advanced level vocabulary into their
Hmm.
conversation, the phrases, the
Hmm.
idioms, everything. They
Hmm.
want to actually nowadays, people have become
Hmm.
perfect in English
Hmm.
because they know that how to speak. They know each and everything that what they should do to
Right.
get the hang of the language. But
Hmm.
only problem comes that they are not able to add good vocabulary to their
Right.
conversation because whenever they are trying to recall it, it
Hmm.
doesn't come to their mind at that
Absolutely.
moment because speaking is something
Hmm.
it should happen immediately. It is
Spontaneously.
you need to respond immediately. You should
Hmm.
you're not going to
Hmm.
wait for when the question is coming in your way and you're thinking about it, giving pauses. So you have
Hmm.
to speak at your feet. So that's
Hmm.
why I want to know that how to add some good vocabulary in your
Hmm.
conversation so
Hmm.
that you can sound advanced level speaker.
Definitely. So again, this is a very common issue. Having good vocabulary. Everybody wants to be Shashi Tharoor, like Shashi Tharoor out there. So everybody wants to speak like him. Even I think he's my idol also. So the way he speaks, it's absolutely bang on, absolute perfect. And the
But
choice
ma'am,
of
one
words.
thing I really
Yes.
want to, sorry to interrupt you in
Yeah,
between.
definitely.
I
Yes.
really don't, I feel that the words he uses in his
Hmm.
sentences are quite literary words actually, which are
Literary
not
words.
in
Yes.
common
Yes.
conversation. Uh,
Yes. I mean, such
in
words
common
which,
conversation, when you're talking to somebody, you are not supposed to use such kind of words which you cannot make other people understand that what you're
yes, 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 yes. But
saying.
you can definitely create that first impression by using such. So first impression is the last impression. So just imagine that if a child is going for some interview or maybe going for some presentation, and there the child uses very high level vocabulary, so definitely, whether or not, regardless of whether the viewers, whether the listeners have been able to understand those terms or not, but the impression is definitely going to be there. The first impression is definitely going to be a good impression. So in order to get your vocabulary to this level, it's very important. There are so many bookish ways that people will try to teach the students, like reading dictionaries or reading books and marking the words out there, then getting a diary and recording all those words. Now, these are all old school ways, although they are very old school ways, but I still believe in them. Okay, I am a little old school when it comes to enhancing the vocabulary. So, for example, now let's just say that these days, especially to talk about in terms of youth. Now, they are quite prone to watching Netflix and series, and that too English series. People, they do watch quite frequently. Okay. Now, there's this one point which I keep harping on, and that which I keep emphasizing is that the entertainment value is more than the learning value. This is one thing where the students are lacking in. So, for example, let's just say I recently watched this series on Netflix called as Wednesday. Absolutely fantastic. The choice of words is phenomenal, and the kind of English used is very sophisticated in nature. So, but what the students are doing is they're just watching it. They're just kind of recording all the words just once, and then they don't get back to the series again because that entertainment value has been taken. Okay. Now, if the child really wants to improve his or her vocabulary, the child needs to get back to the series once again, because that entertainment value should go down and the learning value has to come up. So if once the child has watched a particular show, one particular episode of that series, and the child has been able to observe, okay, these are the phrases, these are the idioms, these are the words, new words which I can learn. So the child needs to get back to the episode one more time, needs to record, if possible, write those words and phrases, and then try to use it in their practical life also. Without any usage in the practical life, the child will never be able to imbibe those words. Try to use them in the real life conversations. I've always been harping on this point. So there are so many words which we can learn. There are umpteen number of words and phrases which exist in the English language. But then it is not possible to learn all these words. It is literally not possible. But whatever words we are coming by in our daily life, when we are watching any episode, when we are listening to any new song, English, so we need to get back to those words. That revision is so important. I cannot I cannot explain more about this revision concept because this is so basic. This is so important. And repetition is important in order for a child to enhance the vocabulary. Repetition, noting down the words, getting back to the words, using them in real life conversations. I think these are very old school ways, but I just
It
rely on
still
them
works
so much.
actually.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Still works. Even if it is old school and has become
Hmm,
obsolete, people are not adopting these things,
hmm,
but still I feel that these are very, very important when you are
hmm.
going back and flipping pages and looking at
Yes,
the words, and then
yes.
you are again you're bringing back to your mind, and then you are
Hmm,
coming up with that. So
hmm.
it is.
Absolutely.
So, ma'am, I want to wrap up now. So,
Hmm,
thank you so much for being here. I am privileged. I'm so happy. I really can't express in my words that how happy I'm today that I
no
connected with
point.
you after a long period of time.
Hmm,
And our conversation was so insightful, valuable. I think people have, I mean, those who are into this journey of learning English, into this
hmm.
journey of becoming fluent, they have learned a lot.
And I'm hoping for the
Looking
same,
forward
ma'am.
to meet you again, ma'am.
Yes,
There
even I'm
there are
looking forward
lots
to
of
meeting you again.
right.
Hmm,
Lots
definitely.
of stuff are there. I
Hmm,
want to know, ma'am. I want to
hmm.
connect to you again. Okay?
Aye, same here. I would love to connect with you all over again and with your viewers also. It was such a phenomenal conversation with you, and I hope that the viewers have a lot to take away from this conversation. And may you all just keep learning and enhancing your English the same way that you've been doing till now by watching your channels. So it's kudos to you also, the way that you have been able to keep up with your channels, with your content, the way that you come up with every new episode. So hats off to your effort also.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, ma'am.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
Thank
Good
you, ma'am. Bye bye. Take care.
night. Bye.